It is Sunday morning. I am back, and you know what that means. We're going to fire into a drafters fantasy draft. And today, while we do so, we're going to be talking about fading players, not just specifically who you should be fading, but why you should be fading. Let's get it.
3, 2, 1. Let's go on.
Good morning, everybody. We are back. I am back. I was gone last week. Luckily, Eric was here to take my place, but today we are going to be firing the drafters, like I said, and we're going to talk about doing fades. Like English is not working today. That's okay though. I think you guys know what I mean. We are going to be talking about the art of it, why you should be doing it, not who you should be doing it to specifically. Good morning to Jason. Good morning to Jonathan. Gilbert Arenas probably won't be in this draft, I'm assuming. That's my guess. Fantasy Football Garage is here as well. And I wanted to bring up fades today because we had an interesting chat in the lab on Wednesday night talking about a very specific type of fade. We're not going to be talking about that specific category today. I just want to sort of hit my philosophy on fading today because it's like a polarized thing within best ball where people I think are just taking it at face value rather than looking at the strategy behind it. What's up, Tebow? And I think you should be looking at it from a portfolio perspective and a slate perspective. And fading a player doesn't mean like, I hate this guy, I don't want to draft this guy. You're looking at the tournament you're playing specific to that. You're trying to figure out who you want to buy and be overweight on. And in terms of being overweight on players, you obviously have to take a stance against other players. It doesn't mean that you dislike players sometimes. It just means that you are trying to heavily invest in other players. And I think that really transitions on the top rounds more so than the middle to late rounds, but it's sort of a ever flowing thing throughout the draft. So when I look at my first round fades every year, I'm going to do it every year. It's who am I going to fade? Why am I going to fade them? And who are the players that I want to get because of that? And that's not particularly in that order. When I looked at the board this year, it was, I want Nico Collins. I want Brian Thomas Jr. They're towards the back of the board. Okay, I can move them around. But in order to move them around, you have to be willing to not take other players in order to get overweight. Worked out very well for me last year. Tyreek Hill, CMC were my fades of last year. To a lesser degree with CeeDee Lamb, I came around a little bit on CeeDee at that point in time. But those other two were heavy fades for me, along with a couple of the running backs, I believe. And I was able to be overweight Jamar Chase. I was able to be overweight Justin Jefferson and a couple other players. And it really helped my portfolio last year because, as you know, a lot of people that draft the way that we do, when I say we, the royal we that watch Spike Week streams, advance rates weren't that great. And I had one of my best advance rate years ever. Didn't transition into my best year ever, but we were able to get a lot of teams through because we were concentrated on certain players in the top round and we were able to build strong teams around them. So let's go ahead and jump. I went to a wedding last night. I'm still on like no sleep, so excuse me not being able to talk. Let's jump in a draft and we'll start talking through it as we are in the draft. We only need 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. We are drafting. Look at that. Look at that. Look at us. We got through this. We got into this draft quite quickly, and we were drafting from the 12 spot, which I don't hate. Don't hate drafting from the 12 spot. We're going to click the I am ready button. That doesn't matter because somebody won't press it. That's for sure. That's how it goes. I was looking, while we start to get into this, I was looking earlier. I went to my to my put away closet where I just have clothes that I haven't looked at in years. And I was looking for my Pacers jersey to wear today. I thought I still had a Pacers jersey, a Ron Artest Pacers jersey from 25 years ago, at least 20 years ago. So I was looking for that to wear today because, God, do we love that they're beating the Knicks. But I did find another jersey. Maybe I'll wear it next week. I found a really cool jersey that I had, and I know I had it in high school, and it's the one jersey I couldn't part with. So let's look at the draft. Let's see who's in here. We got B Kurt's in here. Shout out to B Kurt. Tebow. DeLudo's in here. FF Links is a familiar name. Huron River Rat, I believe, is very familiar. Ralph Wiggums, of course. And we have Moxie, who refuses to go into the YouTube chat. Is it an old man thing? Is it a technology starved, elderly, graham cracker, bran muffin person thing that he can't figure out YouTube chat? Or is he just like me and he watches YouTube on his TV sometimes where there is no chat? The world will never know because he can't answer. All right, so we see Chase, Jefferson, Gibbs, Barkley, Bijan go in the first round. And my first round fades this year are Saquon for sure. I'm definitely... It's tougher this year because I think this is the best first round we've had in best ball. But I'm fading Gibbs. I'm fading Barkley. I've been fading Bijan, which I don't love. Definitely been fading Ashton Jeanty. And I've been fading Puka so that I can get more Jefferson, Neighbors, Lamb, BTJ, Nico Collins to move around. I'm going to have to fix my overlay here in a second. And Moxie comes through and just drops the absolute hammer and takes Nico Collins away from me. So we are going to go Brian Thomas Jr. And I've been crushing a lot of A.J. Brown. God, it's so hard not to. It's just so hard not to take Brown here. You know what I've been wanting to get a little bit more of, though, is Achane. So I think I'm going to take Achane here. I think I'm going to do a BTJ Achane start. Ooh, Moxie spicy with the JSN on the wrap with Nico here. All right, so what I need to do is I need to change the song. And I need to quickly update my overlay here. We just need to sign in. And we are signed in. Look at us. And I added some very specific things to my overlay this morning that I want. Might mess around with some colors later. But so we have percentage with our QB1, percentage with our QB2, round 1, round 2 player ownership, round 3, round 1 and 2 together, which I think is huge. And I got some projected ownership as well. So with our round 1 pick. So that's some of the stuff that I'm going to be looking at today on this stream. I wasn't sure which colors to go with in my brain, so we'll fix that. What's going on, Scott? Thanks for joining us. And yeah, I hope everyone is having a great holiday weekend as well. So as we look through this round, so one of the things I want to focus on, which I will not be doing this year, but one thing you can do in terms of fades is you can just always fade the 101 and you'll probably be right more than not. Like on a year-to-year basis, you're just going to be right if you fade the 101 and move one of these other players up to get different ownerships. My brain and my heart just won't let me do it with Jamar Chase this year, so I won't. But it's probably plus EV to do that in most cases. I believe it was Moxie who made the point that he's the one person, the 101, not just Chase, but the 101 every year is the one person that can't beat his draft spot, right? So that is something to think about as you're doing this. And then you just need to make decisions throughout the board. One of the ones I'm flirting with right now is I like Bowers a ton, but Bowers goes in this weird range where he could be, as you saw him fall to the mid-second round here, but he can go top of the second round here. And I like McBride just as much as I like Bowers. So I might just fade Bowers the rest of the year and just take McBride. It's something I'm considering. That is something I'm considering. Yeah, it's hard for the 102 to beat their spot, but also the 102 you're able to get a 16% share of rather than an 8% share of, right? Like in theory, theoretically. So that's what we're looking at here is how do you get yourself overweight, and we're going to be on the clock here in 1 second. All right, Kittle goes to Moxie. This is going to be a tough little spot. Rashee Rice all the way up to the second round, huh? Okay, that's fine. We just don't have enough Xavier Worthy overall, as you can see. Our projected ownership with our round 1 pick is 19%. And we grab Lamar Jackson because we are idiots and we don't pay attention to the clock, which is okay. And we're on auto. God damn it. Oh my God. That's fine. That's what we wanted to do. The main thing you have to fade when you're doing drafts is fade being an idiot. Right? That should be the first thing you should fade, is being a just absolute moron. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we're the worst. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. It's been a hell of a week. Good stuff. All good stuff this week. Talk a little more about that later in the draft. We'll continue to talk about fades. Fades. Luckily, none of the guys that I drafted are fades for me. But I think that we can still make a really fun team out of Thomas, Achane, Lamar, and Breece Hall here. And Breece Hall is a guy that I do want to draft this year, but I just sort of been overlooking. So I don't hate that I accidentally took him here. I would have loved to have done it with a second wide receiver, especially in this room. But I have ways to dig out of this, and I think we can do it. So that is going to be the plan here. And I think you can fade not just players, but you can fade certain constructions as well. Like, I know a lot of people don't like the elite quarterback, so if that's a construction fade you want to do, that just alters your player pool already. Like, it takes Lamar, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, etc., Jalen Hurts out of your player pool to begin with. So that allows you to leverage that with other players. It's not, that particular one is not my construction of choice to fade. I like having elite quarterbacks, so that won't be me, but I understand the concept of doing it that way. Definitely a fine thing you can do there. And when you're getting overweight other players, it allows you to build differently than others as well, right? Because if you're doing, say that you're fading, I don't know, say you're fading Hero RB for whatever reason you would do that, and you're strictly going with either some sort of, you're just juxtaposing 0 RB with like a robust RB. Those are your two draft styles. It allows you to get overweight on both of those and to make different pairings than other people normally would. Because when a lot of people are doing the, like, we'll call it the 8% method, where they're just trying to draft 8% of every player roughly. We know it doesn't equal out to that completely. They're just doing it in the safest way possible, right? They're not altering the player pool. And when you're fading specific builds, you can alter your player pool to be like, all right, well, I have that 8% that most people have with, you know, let's just say the Bijan Derrick Henry start. Let's just say that's a common pairing to start. But now I can do Bijan with Jonathan Taylor, or Bijan, and I can pull up Chase Brown, right? Like, because maybe Chase Brown doesn't get to him as much. I'm just throwing out sort of arbitrary names right now, but I think you guys get the gist. So when you are fading, you should be doing it on multiple levels. Like, is there a specific player? Is there a specific site that you don't like a player on? And I think there are easy ones, especially for sites like Drafters. All right, so we need to grab some wideouts here. I think that we're going to grab Calvin Ridley, because I don't have enough of him. I don't like when that message pops up. And I think we're going to grab Chris Godwin. I just want to scroll a bit to make sure there's no one else that I want here. Perfect. Let's grab Godwin. And what's fun is he's only projected at 8% with our round 1 pick as well. So a little bit of a scroll. And the fun part is, like, we probably should just scroll down and grab Debo here. This is something we should be looking at more in like June, July. But like, if this was July and we're seeing that Debo is only projected at a 3% ownership of Brian Thomas, then I think it's just a better click than obviously Calvin Ridley and comparable to Godwin, but like maybe a little bit better. So let's continue talking about fades. So I think we've established that the reason for like the first round fades, I think we've established the like situational construction fades, like how you can fade certain constructions. And I think the other one is just like flat out player fades specific to what you're trying to build or specific to the site you're playing on. Do you think that the Pats are overpriced, RGT? I would argue that the Patriots are one of the cheapest teams on the board. Commanders, I can see you making that argument all day long, but the Patriots are so underpriced that you can easily draft them. I'm not saying you have to. You can fade the Patriots if you want to, but I wouldn't be saying it's cost related as to your fade for the Patriots. That would be my argument against that. But for sure, I mean, like, Commanders are very expensive. They're very difficult to stack. McLaurin is where to go in this draft, probably third round. Yeah, third round for McLaurin. Debo's the 6th. The fourth round was Jaden Daniels. They are a cost prohibitive team to stack. I'm not fading it because I don't think I need to go nuts with stacking Washington. I think I can get Jaden Daniels, and if I got Terry McLaurin, awesome. If I got Debo, great. I'm fine with doing it with Ertz, and I'm kind of fine with just having naked Jaden Daniels if it comes to it. So that's my philosophy with Washington. Patriots, you can just do whatever you want with, man. Like, who's the most expensive guy? Travion Henderson, probably. And Steph Diggs just went in the 7th round. Seems okay to me in terms of price. Now, plenty of arguments to be made to not draft the Patriots, for sure. Other players that I'm fading. You guys like martingales? I've been wrong about James Conner the last 2 or 3 years. But guess what? Still not drafting him because I am a glutton for punishment. And I will be right one of these years. All right, I think Josh Downs is a great pick to have here on drafters. And Brandon Ayuk is an interesting person to talk about here in a second. But let's go ahead. Let's start with drafting Josh Downs. And let's figure out what we want to do with our second pick here. Let's take Hawkinson. I don't have a lot of Hawkinson. I've wanted more. I feel like we've got a good little build here. So let's go over our team and then let's talk about some more fades here as we go through. Let's go. We have Lamar Jackson, Devon Achane, Breece Hall, Brian Thomas Jr., Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Josh Downs, and TJ Hawkinson so far. Now remember, we're on drafters. We don't need to build playoff correlation at all. It's not a thing we have to do because this is cumulative scoring. And that's why I think Brandon Ayuk is an interesting discussion point here. And I think that the main person that this sort of flows through was last year when you had, God, I'm going to draw a blank on the name now. The running back from Carolina that we were all high on, but we knew he was going to start the season on the PUP, Jonathan Brooks. And as we were drafting Jonathan Brooks, we didn't really lower him enough on drafters, right? And I think that just was such a mistake because on drafters specifically, each week matters more than it does on playoff sites. So week 1 is just as important as week 17. So if you're taking away 4 to 6 to 8 of those weeks, that player is not helping you nearly enough. And it sounds so simple. It's like one of the most simple concepts, and yet our brains don't allow for it sometimes. It takes us like years to build that up. So I think that we need to be very cognizant of injuries throughout off-season, training camp, preseason, on sites like drafters, and decide to just make hard lines in the sand on those players. Like Jonathan Brooks was probably at best a 20th round pick, 19th round pick last year on drafters, and we were drafting him significantly higher. He could only give us about, at best, 8 usable weeks if he started halfway through the season, which is where we expected him to start. And we were drafting him way too high, probably. So obviously Ayuk isn't in that same exact scenario, but he should be docked on drafters more so than other sites. And if you want to do a full fade on Ayuk on drafters and take him on like playoff sites, it makes so much more sense, right? Like just significantly makes much more sense to do that there. And a lot of the stuff we can do is with quarterbacks too. Like you shouldn't probably be touching either of the Colts quarterbacks here on drafters. Like what are you getting for use? Like when are they playing? What are your usable weeks? It's just a really weird situation overall to be taking quarterbacks of that ilk on drafters. All right, we are on the clock. I think we're going to do something what I think is a little bit fun. We're going to take Mark Andrews, and we're just going to fire Rashad Bateman as well here. Get our double stack with Lamar Jackson. Feels right. Feels good. And I think Mark Andrews might be a little undervalued this year. I like Likely just as much, but I don't want to fade Andrews at the expense of being overweight Likely. I think that is the one tight end duo that you can be overweight on both players and feel good about it, and draft both on the same team and feel good about it. I probably won't do it on this team because I have Hawkinson. We're done at tight end. We're going to grab Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, be done. But I think it's I think Andrews still had a significantly decent year last year versus what people are saying about him. Woof, not good. The CMC Brooks is RB1. I mean, we can't fault you on the, like, you can't be faulted on the CMC thing. That is an embarrassing team level thing from the 49ers last year. I was fading CMC, but it wasn't because I thought he was going to start the year missing 8 games. Like, that was never my philosophy. And if anyone tells you differently, like, they're insane. They were making it seem like all systems were go for CMC most of the offseason. Yes, as Vaporware says, pound the like. Pound the like. Versaire is trying to catch up at 2 times speed. Hopefully, I just sound normal because I feel like I'm a bit slow today. I went to a wedding last night. It had an open bar. Didn't get completely wrecked. Here's a fun thing. I was responsible, and I took an Uber to the venue. The Uber there was $20. It's 10 minutes away from my house. 15 minutes probably. And upon trying to return home, the Uber went from $19 to $104, which is robbery, in my opinion. $104 to go 15 minutes. So that was a hard pass. We didn't do that. Luckily, we knew people. We got dropped off. It's a good point, RGT. Should have went and did the shuffle. We used to crush the shuffle back in the day. Yes, exactly, Ben. The BTJ stuff is beautiful. Everyone's going to look back on this year and think about how big of idiots they were. Round 11, Trey Benson. My heart is hurt. My heart is hurting. Yeah, we just don't have regular cab companies floating around here too much. All right, seems like a easy spot for us to get our second quarterback to grab Trevor Lawrence, stack him up. So we're going to do that. We're going to start scrolling. And as gross as it is, we can do a team level correlation and you know what? Yeah, let's grab Rashad White. I think he fits in well with Achane, Breece Hall here, and allows us to still take some upside guys later. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take Rashad White. We could have taken Bigsby as well. I'm only going to mention it because I know he's not going to get back to us. But we were done at quarterback. We're done at tight end. We have 5 wideouts. We have 3 running backs. I think we're good. Yeah, that you can't do it, Nolan. I'd rather you just I'd rather just walk. Rather just walk at that point. Oh yes, $104 Uber ride is less expensive than a DUI. That is for sure. However, I would just walk because I'm a psycho. I will not allow Uber to, you want to double the price? Sure. Doubling the price is still insane, but sure. 5xing the price is insane. Yeah, I agree, Versier. Like, he's not going to just be a third down back. He's going to be on the field. We know that. They didn't make any changes to that backfield. We love Bucky. Like, Bucky, I love Bucky as a player. He's, was one of my highest exposure players last year, helped me with all that advancing stuff. One of the reasons I was able to get Bucky was because of fading other players around him and just absolutely hammering Bucky Irving. But we have to look at prices of players. If we're getting 12th round Rachaad White, the guy that we know is going to be on the field, he's going to give us some usable weeks. He's a utility guy that you can draft with different types of constructions and feel good about it. Like, we have Achane, we have Breece Hall here, and we do feel like Rachaad White can fill in some of the gaps there when they're either on bye or, or just put up a dud of a week, which is going to happen. So I think he can definitely mesh into teams like that. So I'm more than fine with it. Do see Tank Bigsby go here in the 13th. So we got Lamar, we got Trevor Lawrence on the team as well for our quarterback. So we're building through Baltimore, Jacksonville. We have Minnesota and Baltimore tight ends with Hawkinson and Mark Andrews. And we have that team level correlation with Rachaad White, Chris Godwin. We don't need to build for playoffs because we're drafting on drafters. And I think we're all up to speed. Yeah, I mean, and to this point, I'm even grabbing Sean Tucker occasionally. 20th round drafts, Sean Tucker, we know can come in and they actually give him the football. We'll never forget last year, that 1 week that everyone mashed Bucky Irving into DFS, and Sean Tucker was the RB1 overall. Wild times. Absolutely wild times. This blue is not doing it for me. I'm going to have to change it. We're on the clock here. We're looking around. Seems pretty easy, right? We grab Josh Palmer, probably. And Rico Dowdle is an easy pick here as well. QJ is kind of interesting for this team. I kind of want QJ for this team. Not a player I particularly love on drafters all the time, but when I have players like Godwin and Josh Downs and Rashad Bateman, I sort of want that guy that is going to give me 3 to 4 just absolutely nuclear weeks, or at least capable of it. And I feel like Quentin Johnson is that guy. And I felt like Josh Palmer, as I looked at it, this was what was processing through my head. He just sort of blends into this Godwin Downs Bateman thing where they can give me usable weeks, but their explosion upside is somewhat limited. Whereas QJ can just house 2 touchdowns for 150 yards 2 or 3 times during the year. Uh-oh. Not good, Tebow. You'll win a lot of money in this contest one day, though. I believe in you. I believe in you. So as we get to the back end of this draft, I think it's important to talk about, we've already sort of hit on these indie quarterbacks. Like, I don't think Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones is clickable in this format. Whereas like Geno Smith, a guy that I'm not drafting a lot of, he's the starter there this year, barring injury, which you can say for everybody. Geno Smith is just the starting quarterback for the Raiders this year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So he is just so outweighted to Anthony Richardson. It's not even funny, and they're going right around each other. Darnold should not be going past Anthony Richardson, even if Darnold sits for whatever reason. Like it goes real bad in Seattle. It has to go. Even if it goes real bad in Seattle, I think he's getting 10 to 12 games. Right? Yeah. I've been doing a lot of second round BTJ on DK as well. So, totally understand that. I love getting BTJ. I thought Nico was going to be my most exposed player this year, and he still might be. Because I am a Nico Collins truther. But, yeah. B. Kurt autoed the old guy on the Saints, which is their rookie quarterback. So do what you will with that information. But he's a starter. He's probably getting 16 games. He's a better pick than Anthony Richardson, right? He's a better pick than who else is out here for quarterback? Let's see. Like even Jackson Dart, who I sort of like on other sites. Like I don't love him here. All right. What do we want to do here? Would like a running back. Let's grab Giddens. And we grab Michael Wilson. And we're going to grab DJ Giddens. Alec Pierce was in consideration there as well. I just think he's an undervalued piece yet again this year. I'm not sure that he meant that he's falling to the 20s. I think he just means that he's falling to the second round. Because I've seen it enough that you can get BTJ picks 13 to 16. Relatively decent. I thought we hated Michael Wilson. I mean, he's not my favorite pick on the board, but he is capable of putting up some weeks. Right. I mean, clearly, he's a distant third option. He's a distant third, but I'll take some Michael Wilson. He's not a stand guy, though. He's not like a guy that I am going out of my way to be overweight on. Generally, he is paired with Kyler for me, but I want to make sure that there are certain wide receivers that I'm not only taking with their quarterback 100% of the time. So that's something that I'm trying to be cognizant of, because Michael Wilson was definitely falling into that camp for me. There you go, Olaf. We like Giddens this year. 16th round, Jonathan Taylor on the Indy offense. Give him to me. Give me him. All right, we're in the back end of the draft. I went to Iowa last week and Kansas. Ready to give you guys a controversial take. I think Kansas City barbecue is better than Texas barbecue. And I'm not going to say I don't think it's close, because both are good. But I think Kansas City barbecue is better. And I would also say that I haven't had a large enough sample size of either. But I had my Texas barbecue at Terry Black's in Austin, which is considered like one of the top places to get your barbecue. and I went to basically a random establishment in Kansas City that was a barbecue place, and I just liked it a little bit better. So that's where I'm at with that. We are on the clock here. I would like to grab a running back. And I think that something fun we can do is lock up 2 of the Tampa running backs here. We grab Sean Tucker. And I think we grab Tesla. Get ourselves an upside wide receiver. I feel like that's what we're missing here. And yeah, I mean it's touristy, but people swear by it. I did not get to Franklin's. That was the other place we heard. I don't think I got there. I didn't get there. Yes, exactly. Kansas City is more sweet and tangy. They use more sauces, and Texas is a bit more smoky. So it's definitely like your preference there, what you prefer. But Kansas City just sort of did it for me. The brisket was really good, man. Just everything that we got in Kansas City for the 1 hour we were in Kansas City, it was to get barbecue, and it was really good. And then I went to the smallest towns in the world. The first town wasn't like insanely small. It was in Kansas. It was Atchison, Kansas. It was fine, like size wise, like just regular normal town. But man, Iowa. I low-key loved Iowa because it's so small, like the areas that we were in. Crazy. We went to a restaurant. Finding restaurants was insane too, but we went to a restaurant that was about 20 minutes away from our location that we were at because it was the only restaurant open. It was a Sunday. We walked in. It was called Buck Snort, by the way, which is LOL funny. Went to this place called Buck Snort, and the bar was wide open, so the 3 of us sat at the bar. So there's the 3 of us at the bar, and there's one other couple in a booth. And one of the bartenders turned to the other one. Why they had 2 bartenders, I have no idea. They just looked at each other, and one of them goes, they weren't joking, "I've never seen it this busy on a Sunday," is what they said to each other with 5 people in the restaurant. And my mind was blown. Not the biggest mind-blowing moment of food while I was there, though. And if there's anyone in the Midwest, I need you to let me know if this is a thing. I'm trying to wait until my other 2 picks, but we'll probably just start the story now. We're going to start looking at players real quick. Sort of see what we want to do here. Okay. We are on the clock now. Actually, not drafting Miles Sanders would be a crime at this point in time. Gross pick. Potential to just be playing a decent amount of snaps here, especially in the beginning of the season, which is fine. We don't need him the entire season. We don't need him playoff weeks. We are, again, on drafters. And we might just do the Jacksonville double here with Parker Washington. Just doing a little bit of scrolling to make sure there's no one else I want to grab here. Oh, we just grab MVS. Because obviously we grab MVS. Let's go through our team. Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Devon Achane, Breece Hall, Rachaad White, Rico Dowdle, DJ Giddens, Sean Tucker, Miles Sanders. Good mix here of RBs. Perhaps we need one more rookie. Perhaps Sean Tucker should have been a rookie, but that's fine. I like having both of these Tampa Bay running backs. We have Brian Thomas, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, Josh Downs, Rashad Bateman, Quentin Johnston, Michael Wilson, Isaac Tesla, MVS, TJ Hawkinson, and Mark Andrews. I am really looking forward to this team min cashing in this tournament. This is the ROI team right here. We just drafted the ROI team. We are getting a minimal return on investment for this team, but we like it. Okay. Let's talk about this thing. Bucksnort and Council Bluffs. I don't know exactly what town I was in. I know they have more than one location. I was in Malvern, Iowa. So whatever's 20 minutes from Malvern is the town I was in. Okay. Let's talk about this situation. Speaking of Malvern, we were in a cafe in Malvern. And we were grabbing lunch, like a late breakfast, early lunch. And I ordered an iced coffee, a mocha iced coffee. And I said, "Can you make that with sugar, please?" And the waitress stared at me. She had no idea what I was talking about. She finally goes, "Do you mean with chocolate syrup?" And I go, "No, I mean with sugar. Like put sugar in it." And she stared at me again. And she's just like, "Syrup?" And I just said, "Whatever you think that means, just do that and it'll work." And that's how I got my coffee. Was just told her to do whatever. Apparently they don't put sugar in coffee in the Midwest. Is this a thing? Is that a thing? Yes, Regina, I'm telling this story. I am telling this story. I'm telling the coffee story because I'm still mind blown by it. So, yeah. My friend Jesse also ordered a coffee, and he said, "I will take a black coffee with cream." And she said, "What kind?" And he said, "Just black." And she had no idea what he was talking about. So I don't know what's going on in the Midwest with coffee. I know that like coffee's an institution here in the Northeast. I thought it was like an institution everywhere, though. I know we run on Dunkin' here in the Northeast, but I thought that coffee was just universally had in all walks of life, areas of the country. People knew what coffee was, what's black coffee, what's coffee with sugar, what's coffee with milk, what's coffee with cream. I thought we were doing that everywhere in America. I just thought coffee was a thing. Thought that everyone drank coffee. They knew what coffee was. But Iowa came along and was like, "I don't fucking know what coffee is. What do you mean? Sugar? Just drink what we have." And that's what we had to do. See, this is what I thought, Jason. We were shocked. We were shocked. I think she thought like a flavor, but I mean, just make it black. Thank you, Best Ball on Call. I don't think it was unreasonable to ask for sugar in my coffee. But what I will say is, I came back to Massachusetts, and I have a coffee shop that I go to down the street from me. It's called Mary Lou's, which is the best coffee on the planet, and I won't be told otherwise. But I was talking to the girl that was making my coffee, and I told her this story, and she's like, "I'm from Iowa," which, first of all, how? And she said, "Yeah, that seems like a thing. People don't really use sugar in their coffee there." This is Regina. Just relax. Just relax over there. This is why you can't tell your girlfriend when you're streaming, right? Because she comes in and she just makes it weird for you. Anyways, we talked about fades. If you want to talk about more fades, then what you need to do is join the Spike Week Discord. Every week we are in the lab on Wednesday nights from 6 p.m. until like Saturday. I think they last about 3 days every time we do a lab. So if you want to talk about fades for 47 and a half, 58 hours or so, join the Spike Week Discord, jump in the lab, get a link there. We are going to Is that your wife? Yes. Seems like it, right? We're gonna get out of here. If anyone wants, we can chat in the Discord. I will catch all of you probably sometime this week. I don't know. We're starting a new show soon. I'm guessing it'll be this in the next few weeks. Anyways, peace.
One. Liftoff.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there, you can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.